Hey, it's Dr. Trish Leigh from the Neurofeedback Expert Program, and today I'm here to present to you the 8 keys of success to fill your neurofeedback practice and to keep it that way permanently. Okay, so the first thing that we need to talk about is expert. What does that mean? Well, you may or may not know that Malcolm Gladwell popularized the idea of becoming an expert in 10,000 hours. This is based on a research article, very interesting one, but what it says is that you need to practice 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 44 weeks a year for 5.5 years to become an expert. So if you're going to become a neurofeedback expert, I want you to think about this. Do you have that level of experience? Well, I do, and I'm here to share my 10,000 hours with you. Okay, so let's continue thinking about this. You say I need 10,000 hours to be a master, to be an expert? The training they are giving me is 4 hours. What does that make me? So if you feel like you don't have enough training, the Neurofeedback Expert Program is probably right for you. So I want you to think about how many hours of training do you really have? Okay, now unfortunately I'm going to have to debunk that scientific study that Malcolm Gladwell presented in the book Outliers. You should read it. Great book. But first I'm going to tell you the story of when I heard crickets. Okay, so I got my first neurofeedback system and I was completely excited to share it with the world. I went for my training. I went to Hilton Head Island to the Brain Core Company and I had my training with Dr. Guy Annunziata, which I loved, and I was so excited to get back to my home in Chapel Hill and share it with the world. I convinced my hubby, who's a chiropractor, Dr. Cosmos Lee, to let me have a room in the back of our office, his office technically at that point. And he said yes, of course. So I set up my neurofeedback system and I was psyched. Now, I'm an intellectual person. I have PhD training in 2 areas, in development and disorders across the lifespan, thinking about communication and cognition, thinking, and the other one in cognitive science, brain functioning, and how that plays out as behaviors of the mind and body. I also have earned a master's in educational leadership so I can help families with their school systems. I have a master's in communication disorders and science, and I've also earned a bachelor's degree in speech language pathology and audiology. So I'm prepared. I know what I'm talking about. But I'm in my neurofeedback room and I hear crickets. I've got no new patients and I can't figure it out. So I decided I'm going to learn everything there is to know about neurofeedback. So I jumped into every training, every book, which really brought my skills up to expert level in delivering neurofeedback care, which of course I'm totally psyched about, but I still couldn't figure out how to get patients into my office. And then it dawned on me, I need to use all my experience from my life. My husband and I have owned fitness centers. We own Curves for Women. I've also owned restaurants. I used to own 3 restaurants back in the day. So I thought to myself, I have to approach this as healthcare, but also as a business. So this goes back to debunking the myth about the 10,000 hours to become an expert. What they found is that was a study that looked at violinists. So violinists needed 10,000 hours of practicing the violin, but that does not apply to entrepreneurship. So what that debunking actually showed is that we need 80,000 hours to be able to run a neurofeedback practice smoothly at expert levels. And I've broken them down into these 8 categories that we are going to go through in the next few videos. But long story short, you need 10,000 hours of experience in all of these categories, helping people to get out of their own way to invest in your program, knowing how the brain functions and being able to talk to people about that, delivering awesome neurofeedback care in totally awesome programs, being able to show people their progress in data, being able to use marketing that helps people find your office, and then being able to track that progress and be able to give all this wonderful paperwork that can really help your patients stay committed. So I'm going to show you each piece in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned.